Assalamu alaikum guys, this here is Gen Z Islam back with another video for you guys today. So today I'll be talking about my views on the Bible as an ex-Christian turned Muslim convert. So this is going to require a very lengthy explanation for you guys. Without further delay, let's dive right into it right away. So on the question of whether or not I believe in the complete Holy Bible that Christians have today, I would say, well, it is complicated. Jews, Christians, and Muslims all believe in the following: that Adam and Eve lived in the Garden of Eden, that Moses led the Jews out of Egypt and into the sacred land, that Muslims and Christians both believe in Jesus, and both Muslims and Christians both believe in some type of second coming. But now here come the differences. Christians believe in the Trinity, which evolved over the course of many years, and the version they have today was also a later addition, but more on this later. I promise to make future videos talking more in depth about this, but moving on. Christians also assert that Adam and Eve's mistake in the garden got everyone, including today, cursed, and many other troubling details. Muslims do believe that Adam and Eve sinning in the Garden of Eden introduced the worldly test, but they don't necessarily believe that Adam and Eve's sinning put some type of curse on all people, including today. And Muslims do also believe in Jesus, but only as a prophet, miracle worker, an important person on Judgment Day, and born to a virgin, but is not in some type of Trinity. Another thing to consider is that the 5 books of the Old Testament were only written a couple hundred years after Moses, so this automatically deletes the possibility of them being divinely inspired. And so these 5 books are Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Another thing to ponder is that the 4 Gospels, or the so-called Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, were originally unknown, and that these names were only attributed to them in somewhere in the 200s or something like that. Many of the books of the New Covenant were either written and/or inspired by Paul, who never truly met Jesus in any in-person interaction. A common argument that Christian polemicists love to throw at Muslims, including myself, is that we have no problem rejecting the 4 Gospels, which only came a few decades after Jesus left the physical realm, but that we have no problem accepting Sahih Hadiths, where Imam al-Bukhari only came like a couple hundred years post Muhammad. Here is a difference. Well, at least we know for sure who was involved with the compiling of the Hadith and of the Quran. There are well-known historical Muslims who have been historically verified to have lived with Muhammad all their lives. That when God gave Muhammad the Quran directly, Muhammad relayed the message to his followers orally, and they wrote stuff down. Some of the companions include Abu Bakr, Umar ibn Khattab, and Uthman, who were known Sahaba and were with Muhammad directly. So that's one way I know that the Quran is divinely inspired. And don't even get me started on Qurans like Hafs and Warsh. There is also a Sahih Hadith which says to recite in the way that's easiest for you. 2 people recite the same verse to Muhammad a little bit different due to their accents and dialects. And Muhammad said that the recitations are perfectly halal and that the theological meaning and message of the Quran has not been tampered with. Another thing, with the Sahih Hadith, there is historical evidence that Imam Bukhari traveled to present-day Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Gulf states, and the Levant to learn from the students of Muhammad, and just to verify that he had heard something correctly. And being part of the Isnad was a very serious deal. It meant you were close with Muhammad, important to him, or you learned from someone that he taught, and you met several criteria, which were being physically mature, of sound mind, sharp memory, and articulation. I could give names of people involved if I wanted to. That is another clear difference between the Bible, the Quran, and other Islamic books. Well, that's all I got for now, folks. If anyone has any questions or comments, please let me know. May God's blessings be upon us all, and may God grant us all Jannat al-Firdaus. Goodbye, kids.